What if man is not really a scoundrel? Man in general, I mean the whole race of mankind. Then all the rest is prejudice, simply artificial terrors, and there are no barriers, and it's all as it should be. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Crime and Punishment is for excellence Dostoevsky's main piece of literature. We could analyze it from its beginning through the behavior of its main character, which is called Roman Romanovich Raskolnikov. Raskolnikov is psychologically described in his first chapter and in the first pages as a young man, a former student that is broke. He has no money, and worst of all, he is dreaded to interact with any other people. As Dostoevsky describes in the book, in the first page, he had become so completely absorbed in himself and isolated from his fellows that he dreaded meeting not only his landlady but anyone at all. We can see that Raskolnikov later on is dealing with the conflict of committing a crime. Raskolnikov, as he has no money, he wants to rob the pawnbroker, Alyona Ivanova, which is a old woman that lives with her sister, Lisabeta, in a department in St. Petersburg. Raskolnikov deals every time with a trouble either deciding whether he kills the woman or not. In some parts of the book, he is decided to kill the woman, but another part of him is disgusted even for thinking that he could be able to do this crime. Raskolnikov is described until this point as an antisocial man who needs to kill to get some money to live. But no, he isn't aloof to all problems in society. Raskolnikov, on the other hand, has a different part of him that is also very sensitive with the problems that Russian society lives in these days. Russian society has a problem with poverty and another problem with how women are treated. For the first one, many people in this society live with this, and himself has to trouble every day living with poverty, trying to explore other options to live as it is killing. For the second troubling society that I already told, Raskolnikov is thinking all around in a boulevard about his crime. How is he going to commit it, or whether he is going to commit it or not. Then he faces a woman, a girl, who is actually pursued by a man, and she's going to be violated and raped. She is pursued around all the avenue, and the man wants to take her. She is slightly drunk, but it can be seen that she isn't by herself there with the man. So Raskolnikov, who is poor, who has no money, takes the least copies he have, he pays a policeman that is there, and orders the policeman to take this woman to her house. Even though he doesn't know the woman is drunk, and he has no responsibility to do this. So this indicates us a different face of Raskolnikov, which he is also troubled, and he also isn't aloof to these problems of society. Raskolnikov, as we were able to see with the girl's case, is very troubled by other people's suffering, even though he is mentally ill. But another important bullet for analyzing Raskolnikov's tendency and way of acting is his own suffering. Raskolnikov's suffering is not only mental, but physical. Every time Raskolnikov has a thought, it affects him also physically. We can see that this suffering is transmitted by Dostoevsky in Raskolnikov throughout a very expressive way that are his dreams. In these dreams, Dostoevsky is able to describe two main things. The first one is the suffering of Raskolnikov, and the second one are the things that Raskolnikov isn't able to accept by himself, but in his dreams he sees for himself. For example, we're going to analyze Raskolnikov's first dream. Raskolnikov's first dream takes him back to his childhood when he was with his father and a drunk man, and with other men he was drunk, and he started beating a mare that was for himself. Raskolnikov, as he was a child, he didn't know what this man wanted to prove. He didn't know specifically why in this moment he had dreamed about this scene that happened many years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. We exactly don't know how much time ago did it happen, but we can see that Raskolnikov is truly troubled in this dream, and it happens just before he was going to commit this murder. So Raskolnikov, especially in this dream, sees a man without mercy, a man who really hates the mare, drunk, and he hits the mare until hitting the mare to death. So we can analyze this scene and apply this scene to what Raskolnikov is troubled about in this moment, as it's the first time that he thinks of the scene since he was a child. So we can see two main faces in the scene. The face of the man who was hitting the mare, which was merciless, which was angry, and the innocent face of a boy who really doesn't know why this mare has to receive this punishment, and is truly troubled because of the suffering of this mare. And both faces represent the faces of Raskolnikov against the killing of Alyona Ivanova. So Alyona Ivanova is characterized as the mare. In this scene, we can see that Raskolnikov hates her and wants to kill her, but at the same time he's innocent and he's angry with himself for even believing that he's able to commit this crime. So Raskolnikov has to deal with this in a dream that is before that the murder takes place. So indirectly we see that Raskolnikov consciousness is all around the book, all around in symbolism, and it's the most important thing, his behavior. To understand this book, to understand how his dreams work, and to understand how he thinks. So I hope this video was able to make you understand the first chapter of Crime and Punishment. That's a great book from Fyodor Dostoevsky, and see you in another episode of Russian Literature Forum. And as they say in Russia, do свидания.